Okay, welcome back to this tutorial. In the previous tutorial we had a theoretical description of the return type functions, and now we're gonna do the practical part of it. So one is we have to define our function from here. Actually this int, we called it addition, and it takes in parameters int x and int y like this. Then we said we have a return type x plus y like this, and this is a function definition is done. Then the function called in the mains, so we define our m as 9 and n as 10. Okay, whatever, whether you make it 9 or 19 doesn't matter. So to use this function we can have a variable, maybe let's say z, to hold a value of this addition takes in m and n. Then we can easily output the value of this variable like this. So if you run this, and you will get the answer as 19. So this 19 indicates that it is the sum of x and y. So here is how it works. We get the value of m, we pass it as x, and then n corresponds to y. Then we output it using this. Similarly, you can avoid very many declarations in this program by directly printing this one here like this. So if you directly output it like this, still it will work. So the only challenge is that if you define a function with a return type, then it must be outputted with a cout statement, which is very different in the next lecture we're gonna discuss. So we can also have a float function. Maybe I don't want to use int only. We can have float addition, and this will be taking in floats, float x, float y. So if you have float values and you want maybe to return their sum as well, then we can also come here and addition, but this time we are taking in floats. Maybe let's say k as 9.9. oh, this has to be a negative sign, 9.9, and then we have l as 70.9 like this. So this second addition will be taking in k and this error. So if I want to break this onto new line so that you can see the output very well. So this one gives the answer as 8.0, 8.8, and this one gives 19 as the answer. So this second function has the same name as the first one, though this one takes in floats and this takes in integers. So where is the challenge? Nothing much. There's nothing much to worry about. So what we have done here is what we call function overloading. The same function having the same name, but then doing different tasks and taking in different parameters is what we call function overloading. So we'll be discussing this in more detail if we come to more functions. So let's go to the next section we made and talk about the non-return type functions. So with the non-return type functions, let's come here. So with the non-return type functions, they are always preceded with a word void, then you give the function name, and here you can pass parameters as well, x and int y like this. Then we can have maybe, let's say, int sum equals x plus y like this. Then instead of return we use the cout statement, and we are printing the sum like this. So this is how we come up with a non-return type function. We don't use the word return to call our function or to return a value by the function call. No, we simply use a cout statement to execute this function. So this is a function addition. Let me say takes in x and y. Oh, takes in x and y, and then the same syntax here. I'm gonna copy each and everything and paste it here like this, and then this is how we call it. We don't use a cout to call this function. It directly, since we're using a cout, we directly call the function by name and pass parameters for it. It will use a cout statement. So if we go for a practical session about this, it is void addition and takes in int x and y. Then here instead I'm gonna copy this the way it is here and paste it like this. Do some indentation, okay, like this. Then we don't need this float anymore, and I think we don't need this as well. We don't need this, so simply we don't need the cout. Only we have to change this one to be m and n. So the same applies. M corresponds to x and n corresponds to y, and that's it all. So that's it. Then you be very careful. If you have a void function, we don't need a cout on it to be double work. So we simply call the function by its name and pass in the parameters we had given. Save that and execute. You get the same answer, 19. So basically always use these void functions to print messages to customers, blah blah blah, but not executing answers like this, because this seems to be too hectic. Very many lines of code in the same. So always use these void functions if you just want to maybe to greet the user. So let me change this one, greet, void greet. Then instead here I'll simply say cout hello my fans, like this. And then if you call greet function here, then you should see that this, oh, we have an error. So we have an error somewhere. I don't know, let me first try to debug this. I didn't close it. Okay, and you see now it greets my fans. So mostly use these functions if you're greeting people, printing customized messages than doing some math stuff. We'll meet in the next lecture.